Hello, hello, hello. It's Anne Lewis, your independent Stamping Up demonstrator, based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. Tonight, I'm not doing projects. I'm actually going to showcase something new, a new tool. I always get excited when Stamping Up brings out new tools because it makes me be a little more creative and I start to experiment, and that's what I've been doing all afternoon. So I'm going to throw you down to my desk. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. Comment, let me know what you think of this new tool. Now, wait a minute, let's put you down here and so you can have a bit of a look at it. Now, it's a stamp positioner. Now, we've had a stamp positioner before, a Stamparatus, which was fabulous. However, you may still have a Stamparatus. You won't need a stamping positioner, to be honest, because they both do the same thing. They just do it completely in a different way. So I thought I'd show you how I would use our new stamp positioner. Now, I'll give you a few ideas. Now, I've got a few hacks of how to use it. I'm not going to do any of the really complex stuff, not because I don't want this to go too long, but what I do want to be able to show you is how to make the most out of this tool, how to make it work for you, and also how to get it to stamp really well. Not that it's difficult, but I have seen a few people who really are very experienced stampers just make a basic mistake. So let's keep going. Oh, before I go, this is not even available for our customers yet. It was available for a very, very short time for demonstrators, but Stamping Up has brought it out as part of a bonus for a starter kit. So if you signed up to be a demonstrator, and if you want to sign up with me and join the rest of my team, you actually get this as a bonus. Now, that's not all you get. For $169, you get $235 worth of products of your choice, free shipping, business supplies, a whole lot of other things, but also this. Now, this special offer only runs for October, and February, and February is the shortest month of the year, so don't delay. Anyway, let's get started. Comes in a box. My box is long gone. I pulled it out to show somebody a week ago, and threw the box out. So it does come in a box, comes with instructions, which are really handy. And so it's got pickies to make it really simple. But after watching this tonight, you won't need the instructions, but don't throw them away just in case. So it comes with, ignoring the instructions, comes with a base plate. It comes with a top plate and what I would call a mini top plate. Yes. And it comes with two magnets. Now, the magic of these magnets is they have these little tabs. So you know how our old ones, once they clip together, you weren't going to get them to pull apart. Of course, they got these little tabs. They are really easy to work with, and they don't take your fingers off. So let's go to see if anyone's watching. If you're watching, hi Glenda, how are you? Hiya. So this is the base. So let's walk through the base first. So I'm going to can I get a pokey tool or something? Oh no, here's my pokey tool. So it's got these, what I'm going to call poles here, right? And I'll tell you what they do in a sec. But it also has these, which I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this, but you can see they're like a press button. So they've got a spring in them. Now, That is what holds this top plate. You see the top plate has a graph on it, which makes it easier to use. It's also got a cat hair. I wonder how that got there. And all you do is you've got 2 holes here and you drop this onto those push buttons here. Now, how do you know you've got to go in the right direction? You've got the Stampin' Up logo at the bottom, up the right way. Now, some people I've seen by mistake have been doing it like that, and others have been doing it like that. So the right way is making sure those holes go over those push buttons there, and the Stampin' Up logo is down the bottom. Hi, Joanne. Hi, So that's number 1 plate. Now it comes with a second plate. It's a little tiny mini one. Again, it has the Stampin' Up logo on it, so you want to make sure it's on the right way up. It also has these little push buttons on it, so it has 4, which means it won't rock. And it sits on these, what I call the poles. I'm hoping you can see that. I don't. So it sits here. And the good thing about it, so you can just see it presses down, is you can move it along. You can pick any of those poles, which is the magic of this one. I don't. Now, I actually marked my stamp positioner. I wish there was an easier name than having to say that all the time. I marked mine with my black. You can do it with a black Sharpie, or I use my black stamping blends just so I could see these, because I found with my eyes they were a little hard to see. So I just put it on the inches and also the centimeters. So I have inches running along here. Hopefully you can see that. Along there's the inches, and then up here is the centimeters. So just below the poles, and then the same down the right. So the measurements are only on 2 sides. Now, I'm hoping you'll be able to see these little, can I call them knobs? Little knobs here. They're there. I'm hoping they're there for something else in the future, but let's talk about what they are there for at the moment. They're there because you can purchase, it doesn't come with the pack, you can actually purchase some grid paper, which then puts measurements on the bottom here. Now, and it also means you can mark, I might want to put a piece of cardstock. Where's a piece of cardstock? Here, but I won't be able to remember which one I chose, so I could actually mark here. So I always know, no matter what happens to this piece of cardstock, that that's where I've actually placed it. So you can see I've already had this on, and it got a bit dirty. But then I also did something. So hack number 1 is, now you get 50 of these in a pack. You'll get centimeters on one side and inches. I'm mainly working inches, so I will keep it to the inch side. However, so this is the inch side. So what I did was actually laminate it. So I will not run out. I could use any whiteboard markers. Where's my whiteboard marker? And I could write like that here, put a big arrow on it, and then when I finish what that project is, just, well, that wasn't a whiteboard marker. It was a whiteboard marker. What has happened here? That's supposed to come straight off. But anyway, I'll find another solution for getting that off. Who would have guessed that? I just assumed it would come straight off. So let's just see. I'm just using an alcohol marker and it comes straight off with an alcohol marker. Maybe that's not a whiteboard marker, even though it's marked as such. Rightio. So what I did here is because I had to punch the holes through the lemonade. And so I punched from what will be my wrong side. So it's the centimetre side. So it will just pop on here. Rightio. Hi, Gail. Rightio. So it's nice and square and it works really well. Now I'm going to take that off because there's a few things more I want to be able to show you. Working in a few different areas here. Now also, and I've marked this in black, there's a little V here. And that's so you can put your piece of cardstock on the side or on an angle. You can then add your magnets. These two little knobs also hold it in place. All right. And then I could put this on, not do what I just told everybody not to do. Do this. You see, I've only been playing with this today. So that just moved a little bit. And then I could just stamp down. Now, the reason why we have that there, or why that's been provided, is if you want to do bulk cards and go bang, 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 one piece, next piece, next piece, that's your best location. Now, the other thing you can do is exactly what I just did on here, is just mark a square. So they both work equally well. You find out which one works best for you. So we've got this sitting here, sitting on there, and all we have to do is pick up a stamp, put it on here, and I'll show you how to do that in a sec. But let's show you how these work, because they're just going to go down exactly the same. Now, what have we got? I've spoken about the measurements. I've spoken about the graph on the lid, the spring feet, the magnets, the poles, the little knobs, the graph paper, the triangle at the front, and the lemonade. Now, that lemonade idea came from my partner in craft, Christine. So she gave me that idea. So thank you, Christine. Rightio. Now, let's grab some stamps. Actually, what we're going to do is I want to grab, I've got a whole lot of stamps here. Now, one of the questions I know you're going to be asking me, because you will have some red rubber stamps. So this is a red rubber stamp. So it has the foam plus the red rubber. So it's a lot thicker than our, let's grab one of these, than one of our new, well, not so much new, but our photopolymer stamps, which have been around a long time. And they stamp beautifully. I still like red rubber, to be honest, but I'll show you the difference. Hopefully you can see this. So you can see, I'm going backwards, this one is a lot thicker. So does it work in the new stamp positioner? Because we've all got those stamps. Let's see. Of course, you know I've already tried, don't you? So how will I do this? I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock. Let's cut as if we were going to do a stamp, a card, I mean. This is one of my favourite stamp sets ever, ever. So I want to just put this down. I'm going to throw some magnets down. Now, you're going to, it's easy with red rubber. You can see which is the downside. But on photopolymer, it's not as easy to see. So always check that the right side's up, so the non-stamping side is up and the stamping side is down. So let's have a go at this. So I've just plopped it on the center of my basic white cardstock. I'm going to, remember these little springs? I'm going to just go down and it will pick it up. Now, it doesn't go down far with the red rubber, but it picks it up, no trouble at all. So let's see. Now, what I found, to be honest, is when I use our big stamps, actually, I might just use the same colour. When I use our big ink pads, I do get it all over the place. But I will do this one with the big ink pad because it's quite a big stamp set. But quite a few of the others, oh, I haven't used this ink pad very often. So it's basic grey, just a little off black. Oh, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just inking this up, making sure ink goes all the way around on the entire stamp. Bring it back, put it back on. So I'm lining up these. Now, even with a thick stamp, it's still not touching the stamp yet till I press it down. So let's press it down. I do walk my fingers around it a little bit. It's a bigger stamp. Oh, I meant to do something else. I know. I'll show you how this works. I know. So see how that came up nice? Now, what I should have done, but it's a good trick to show you, I'm going to re-ink that up. All right. But this time I'm also going to add a sentiment. If I got a sentiment from here, it says, dear friend. So let's find, oh no, let's find a little, oh, dear friend, or hello. I haven't even used these stamps. Sorry, that one I've used so much, but the actual sentiment ones I haven't. So let's put this. Still got the backing on it. Look at that. I won't add the sticker. But let's put, I think this is dear friend, like that. Let's just put that across there. So I'm going to bring this back, put it down. And what I wanted to show you, this is one of the time savers. So I picked that up. Now I'm going to just ink this up nice and gentle and try and not get ink everywhere. Now I've already inked that twice because you just saw me press it down. So I want to show you how accurate this is. I'm just walking my fingers around, pick it up. So now look how nice that image is. So I've stamped that 3 times. You can see it hasn't moved an inch. Such clarity. This is only basic grey, so it's not black, but it's just about turned black. And look at that, dear friend. So I've stamped 2 things at one time because I've got a big plate. Honey, I love that stamp set. Hence why I used it. Now, so I'm just going to throw that. So that's just using red rubber. So you can see it works in red rubber. So I'll take these off. I know I should clean that, but we'll put that away. Put that out of the way, hopefully. Now, I bought my little glass cleaner, just in case there was any ink by mistake left on there. So here's number 1. Yes, you can certainly use, you know me. Aren't you glad I told you how to make sure that that's there? Otherwise, you'd be doing what I'm doing all the time. Anyway, so my next idea, my next one is I'm going to use a really large linen background stamp called Lasting Linen. Now, I want you to have a look at this because it's already, as you can see, quite distressed. So it's going to come out distressed. It's going to come out exactly the same as it goes on. Now, the good thing about this is normally I have to use, I can't remember the block size, a really large block. I think it's a G block, but I could be completely wrong, to fit this on. Now, my hands hardly go round G block. And more to the point, if you've been following me online, you know I've come off the push bike this week. And I've got to confess, I've done it twice. So I'm quite injured, and my hands and my wrist are a little battered. So I'm having trouble actual stamping with blocks. So with these, whereas this, I don't have to do hardly anything. So this is the lasting linen photopolymer. So we're just going to see how photopolymer works. And so I'm just sitting it there while I grab a piece of paper. Let's just do this piece of paper back again. So it's just the back side of that. So I'm just lining it up in the center. I'm going to put this down. Actually, what I could do, there's a few ways you could do this, but so it's got my inches there. So I'm just going to put it in the center. But it doesn't really matter, actually. But what does matter is that I get it right in the center, that I don't have any edges. This is where my hands, oh no, so now we're right. And I've got a little bit of crap on here, which you will always see is really easy to wipe off. So it's really easy to keep clean. So here we go. Put this on. Oh no, that's right. Put it on. Oh, I didn't put the magnets down, so it's going to pick up. So I know where I put it now. If I go back, I did that wrong. Where's my little piece of, here it is. Oh, no. And this is a little easier to do it like this. Now, I've got to be honest, I should have had a bigger piece of cardstock. So I might go and grab a piece, because this is such a big stamp. So let's just put this on here. Then I can use my magnets. Now, if I'm doing a big stamp on a small piece of paper, which I do quite often, one of those little magnets has warped. I'm on a black desk today. Here it is. Righto. So we're going to line this up again. I ink it up. Because it's a big stamp again, I'm going to be using some basic grey. Now, normally I would use grey granite on this. So I'm making sure it's fully covered, putting it back, making sure it's nice and straight. It's where it should be. Putting it back on the block. All I have to do is press it down. I will need to walk it around. Now, there is one hint. Down here doesn't stamp that well. So do all your stamping up the top here. Don't try and do it right on the very edge down there. Have a play and you'll see what I'm talking about. So here we go. Pick that up and look at how gorgeous that is. That's so much better than what I can do with a block. So let's put that one aside. I've got all these little pieces here. Put that there. So far we've done two. So I've done a photopolymer large background stamp, and you can see how easy that was. I've done a red rubber stamp, so you know that that works really well. Well, let's turn this over. This is this piece here. So I'm going to show you some two-step stamping. Now, I could put it in that corner like that, but that doesn't work for me that well. So I'm going to put my cardstock, and I could put a little piece. Let's cut a little piece off. So you can see I don't just need to do really big pieces. Just pretend, let's cut this piece off here. I know. hopefully that will fit my two-step stamp. So I'm going to put it here. So just so I remember, I'm just going to put it on the 3-inch mark, and I've marked it there, and I've got it lined up. Oops, with my grid paper. Yeah, maybe one up there, put them up a little closer. Now I'm going to be using the Pop-Up Petals stamp set, one of my favourite stamp sets. Let's put this over here. I have stuff everywhere on this desk for prep for this class. So here we go. So I'm going to do two-step stamping. If I can find the, oh, here it is. Fill out. So the 2 steps here, there's a couple of 2 steps I can do. So I can do this one, and there's another one that makes this 2-step, surely. That's one. I'm missing a stamp. Oh, I know, because I've got it in a box. So I'm going to change that up. After using it for something else. So this one, and this may not be. I wanted this and this. So you know what we're going to do. I know how this works. I know. So first one I'm going to do in the basic grey. If I can find it back. This time I'm just going to use a stamping spot. Where did that go? Here it is. Put it down here. All right. I know. Get my lid. Just over here. All right, pick it up. This is a new stamp, so it wants to pick up the paper because it's a bit sticky. Now, how I sold that, there's quite a few ways. You can clean it with your stamping scrub. Now, I see people do this, like rub it on their skin. I'm not sure whether that works. What works for me is adding a little bit of Versamark. Right, that seems to stop the stick. I know. So then I'm going to use, once you've done it once, you don't need to keep doing it. This is my basic grey outline. As you can see, I didn't try this first, so I'm going to put it down on there, stamp it. Now, my 2-step, now that's not dark enough. Do you see that? So let's add a little bit. I know you can't see this on the black, but we'll add a bit more ink. Do it again. Hasn't moved. So I can add this again. Now, and that looks far, far better. Now, this I'm going to clean with my rag, with my cleaning cloth, not my rag. Let's clean that off. Oh, it's a little tough on my wrists at the moment. Anyway, so now I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing that this is going to colour this going this way. No, it isn't. I haven't got a 2-step stamp for this, but you can see how, if it's not dark enough, how I can at least do the re-ink it to make that colour come out. Now, whoa, oh, right there. I see it now. Rightio. So here's the, I was a bit slow, wasn't I? So I'm going to line these up. This is the green. So to line this up perfectly, well, next to perfectly, just make sure all those leaves are in the right space. So again, I'm going to grab the lid, which I'll put somewhere safe on my desk. So we're going to use this, and you're going to see how this one works. So I'm going to just put this down. This is the small one, so I'm putting it on these poles. Pick it up. Now, it did move just a little bit, maybe. So this is going to be green. So I've got some somewhere in my stamping. And this is a brand new stamp. I've never even used this. So as you could tell, I couldn't see how to do it. So I've lined it up. Stamp it down. So there's the two-step. How easy was that? I only want it light. And then I've got just going to put this back here. Got the top of the rose here as well. So how about we make it red? I think that's, as you know, I can't get above. I can't actually see the above it. I'm just making sure I've got it exactly where I want it, even though it doesn't matter. We'll go back to this. Where are we? Oops. Here, pick it up. And then I'm just going to use the red, which hopefully is sitting on my desk somewhere. Here it is. Whoop. And I can ink it up. Now this is just red, so I've kept it nice and light. Put it back on. So there we go. So how nice is that? I know I didn't line that up perfectly, but I can't get above it. I've got a camera and lights between me and when I'm trying to stamp. But you can see how easy that turned out, even though I made it sound quite hard. Right, so there's the two-step stamping. Now the next one is, oh, here's my block. Here it is. Here it's clear through. That's why I can't see it. Now the next one I'm going to do is another time saver. I'm just going to place this down here. Throw my magnets on, hold it in place. I'm going to use I've just got it on a block so I didn't lose it. One of my favourite stamp sets, which is retired, but it's sending a cup instead of a text, because it resonates with me, this one. So I'm going to use this little one because it's a little quicker to use. And I'm going to put this on the side now. So I'm putting it in the middle of those. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but it's as best as I can do it and nice and straight. And then put this down. I can kind of see by the grid it's not perfectly straight. Let's try that again. So I'm going to use the grid this time to line that up. So I've got that bottom line of text that I can work that out on. Get rid of that a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's pretty good. So let's ink it up. Again, I'm just going to be using the basic grey because it's the only dark one that I have. And I want to show you how quick and easy this can be. Straight down, straight up. Turn it over, ink it up. And you know those poles that were there? I just need to go down one more pole, get it nice and straight, go down. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Down and up again. Go down one more pole. And down and up. Now, I could just keep going down. I'm going to do a couple more. How quick and easy is this if you want multiple sentiments? Now, sometimes you've got to pick which sentiments work. These work perfectly because it's a good size for that 1 inch. So you don't want a little tiny one, otherwise it might be a little hard to do multiple ones. Okay, so then what is the trick with this? And take that out of the way, put that out of the way, and here we go. So all I'm going to just imagine the entire card is done. So I'm just going to line this up because I know they're in a straight line because I haven't moved. So I'm just going to go there. Do the same again on this side. As I always say, I can never see. You'll guess. And then I'm going to just trim a little bit off the top. Now I could have worked this out scientifically, but I didn't. And then I'm going to, let's see, cut them at 1 inch, which is the space between those poles. How easy is that? I'm actually going to be using all these at one stage. I know, I'm not going to cut any more. But how easy was that? Now, if I wanted to trim them down a bit, I could, but it's pretty simple way of doing sentiments when you want multiple ones. Now, I could also do, what else have I got? I've got a couple of other tricks. What else have I got? I've got a list here. Sentiment strip, card and sentiment in different colors. Oh, this is my next favorite one. Have I got this? I've got a piece of cardstock. I'm going to bring back just my base, and I'm going to make sure that I've got the grid paper on it. I'm going to use my big, I can see the magnet sitting over there trying to escape. I'm going to use the bigger plate. Just leave that there. I'm going to grab a bigger stamp. One of my favourites, Nature Symphony. You've seen me use this a fair bit. I'm going to be using this big stamp. And this is how you can add shadowing really easy with a, let's just put it on a bit of an angle with a stamp position. It's a lot harder. You can have a guess. It's a lot harder without a stamping positioner. Now let's go. Where's my grey again? Because it's been working so well. Let's use the big one. Oops. I know. Oops, sorry. Let's slide this up a little bit. Oh, I don't want to do that. So let's put this back on again, how it should be. All right. Press it down. Now, this would be perfect for swap cards or whatever, if you are making a few. Now, remember, this is a fairly new stamp set, so it's going to, I'm going to stick there. Now, remember, I had it right on that corner there, so it's right where I want it to be. So that's why I marked this one. I don't. Come back down, ink it up. This is one of those stamp sets that I see people miss leaves, etc. It's one of those stamp sets, though, for me, where I put ink all over the plate. I know, but it won't actually ruin my card. That's what's so good about this. So let's put it down, walk my fingers around it. Now I could do this with alphabet letters. So for a scrapbook page, this is perfect, this technique. So now, to be honest, it's a little pale over here. So because I haven't shifted it, I'm going to looks like I've shifted a little bit. Hopefully, I'm not sure when it shifted. But anyway, let's give this a go. So I'm just going to redo that to make it a bit darker. Now, so you can see now it's quite dark. Now, without inking that back up, I'm just looking for my cleaning cloth, which is hiding on my desk somewhere. Just going to clean it up because it drives me insane. Okay, now this time I'm going to be shifting my project. So I'm going to shift it slightly to the right and slightly down because I want a shadow on it. Now, I'm not going to be re-inking this up because I only want that shadow to be super light. So it's basically a generational stamping. So we're going to do this. I've shifted that. Going to just come down here. So I've got my shadow on the wrong way. I should have shifted it up. But you can see how I've got that really cute shadow there. Now, what should have happened is I should have shifted that the other direction. So that's my mistake. But I love that technique. This would work for if you're using an alphabet stamp. Now, we've got a new alphabet stamp coming out in March. Perfect for the stamp positioner. Rightio. So there's another little way of just adding a little depth to your cards. Don't forget, don't re-ink it in between. Okay, now there is one other technique that I'm not going to show you tonight because I'm going to do it in a project in the coming weeks. What I can do, and I want to show you this, I just had a rough play before here, is so don't worry about the shape of the card or whatever. But what I did, what have I done here? Just in case you want to have a play with this. So on my card, I just stamped an image, right? I then die cut it out, and then it leaves this space here. Then I would, if I wanted a few of these, I would then just die cut white pieces, and I don't have any here. I meant to do that. Die cut some white pieces, shove it back into this. Don't you like this, shoving it back into this hole? And you would just go bang, bang, done. Put the next one in, bang, bang, done. Now that, if a single step stamping, if it was two step, you'd have to do it twice. And you would use your little mini plate. So that's something you can play with. We used to do that with the Stamper Artist as well. You can do it with punches. There's so many things that you could do that with. Hello. So what do you think of the Stamp Positioner? Do you think it does what you'd like it to do? Can you purchase extra magnets? We can't purchase anything at the moment, Joanne. It will become available for everyone later in the year, but we don't have a date for it. At this stage, we can't purchase extra plates or extra magnets, but I'm not sure whether that will be the case in the long term. So that is a quick run through with lots of techniques. So we've got the two-step stamp. We've got the running down of the sentiments to save time and effort. We've got got them scattered here somewhere. We had the gorgeous, we had this one here, which I've cut down, which did the large background stamp so easily. And then I have one more, which we did this one, which is the red rubber. And then you could do these in different colors. So you'd ink this one up, ink this one up. So this one also showed us that if we want a darker image, we can just restamp it, put it back down, and we stamp in exactly the same place. And you get that really, really nice image. So there was a lot there. And I had one more, this one here. So there's my 5 techniques. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's so much more that you can do. Now, how I did this, you can easily do on the scrapbook page because it's got no edges. So that's what makes this a little more flexible for scrapbooking than the Stamper Artist was. So that's it for tonight. So I didn't have to do any hard stamping. So thank you for your understanding. And I will be back next week with some projects to share. Thanks, everybody. I really enjoy sharing the Stamping Positioner with you. We got to get a better name for it. I don't know. Who's got an idea for it? Anyway, for this new tool, how about I say that? And hopefully you'll get your Stamping Positioner out if you've already got one, or how to play when these come in stock. So thanks, everybody. Much appreciated. Don't forget, this is a bonus if you want to sign up as a demonstrator with me. And there is a link actually in the description. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.